Hey Ryan, taking a look at your final. Here is what you turned in. Let me turn all this stuff off. Go show none and then just show polygons. I would say that the back feet are getting into some strange poses. I think it looks like maybe the rig's getting moved around or stretched on accident. It also feels choppy. I'm guessing that the speed the camera's moving in conjunction with this, how the what is this lion? As a female lion, how the lion's moving. It's kind of just mixing in a strange way. Let's see how this looks in perspective. Oh, sorry. So if you were, I was looking at the reference, and this is pretty stable. It's not like jittery or anything. So I'm gonna set your reference just so it's easier to work with, because you animated 70 to 160, which is all good. Okay, here we go. So this is your, oh no, oh. And then you can just hit play and then see an arrow. Okay. I think it'll just loop at this point. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty stable. So that's the #1 thing I'd probably look into, and then we fix the legs. And then I love how he's kind of, his back legs are kind of like hopping. He's like really far from being a scary, deadly lion at this point. But he looks heavy, or she. I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see what's happening here. Yes. You're getting it a little bit. I think at the beginning, it's not, you have like, there's some strong hops right there and there, but the beginning is like missing the hops. So you would want to go back in and get the hop happening really clean. I bet you the rig is sort of oriented around the hips. Let's see. Yeah. Well, the feet are an IK mode. Oh, Patrick's here. He's behind me. The stool. Yeah, I could see right here, like there's some strange stretching in here. We can try and figure out how to fix that. And then the feet. Anytime the feet are off like this, I went over this with a bunch of people on the Ultimate Boney. Here's Patrick. There he is. You just know something's wrong with the rig if this is happening. Buddy, I'm trying to get work done. I'm going to kick you out of here if you don't calm down, okay? So everything's probably dependent on the hips. So I would... All right, Putty, you got to go. I'm doing a video. Closing the door. There might be a little bit of crying, but he usually moves on. If not, I can do the video later. Okay, so I think some of the jitteriness. So down here is 12 FPS. So I think some of the jitteriness is just, this is a complicated rig. Let's see what happens when we play blast it. You can see if you just watch the feet. I would tackle this the same way I tackle the walk cycles. Is let's just get the legs looking good and focus there, because I think you did like a first pass, which is good, and then now you kind of want to start going back in and making it more animated, and looking for issues and bugs and stuff like that. I like to go from the beginning to the end as well, just because my head works better that way. So let's just look at the pose from the starting. I think that's the pose we want to do. So how do we make that look more of the same? Where's the reference? You had two monitors, you could just like put them both up next to each other. So whenever I start an anim, I spend a lot of effort into trying to make that first frame look really close to as much as possible the reference, because everything else is based around that. I'm gonna probably move him backwards because I want to get the arms are like pushing forward. Let's see. And then what is this twist? There's an issue with this shoulder in here. So that's 0, so that's probably good. Something is twisted up in a weird way on this rig. Okay, I just zeroed out the translation on the head. Usually you don't want to translate neck stuff. You're probably better off rotating and then rotating this guy back. This guy back. The back goes up. You can see there's this upward angle on it. And then these legs are back. I'm going to go down this way and angle it back up. And then what happens if we zero out the back? What does the back look like? Nope. Okay, that's pretty much the default back position. All right, where's that issue coming from? Yeah, I don't think I mean, it looks like this should be back over here. That's the knee targets. Just dig into this rig and see what's going on. I might have to open up, like, a lot of times I'll go to the original thing before it got messed around with. I'm just looking at these groups to see if there's anything strange going on. There's some rotation here. That might be it. What happened here? Okay, so I zeroed that out. FK offset scapula. I don't know what that does. Zero out some more of these things and see if I can get undo that FK offset scapula. Zero that stuff out. So this is like where the mesh started from. So we do know for sure there's an issue in there somewhere that we have to track down. Find a elbow target for the front leg. This guy. I don't think that was body. I'm turning off the skinning on the body to see. Okay. It's possible that this character just doesn't have the best deformations on the shoulder. Oh yeah, look at, well, okay, never mind. I thought that was fixed, but it's not. Okay, I think that's where it's supposed to be then. Maybe that's just how the rig is set up. Yeah, okay, so this has this auto behavior to it that maybe we can just manually roll back. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And can we translate this around? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I guess that was a long way of me figuring out how to actually pose this rig. You may have figured some of this out already. So there's like some auto behavior underneath this. I'm just gonna roll that back down so it looks a little cleaner. There was something weird about it. It was just too pinched up. Every rig has its own like special way of working. What's this do? And you can't see this arm. Ugh, I broke that thing. There we go. Yeah. Like we should just pull him back just a little bit further. They're both behind, probably out. I'm gonna just try to emulate what is that in that pose. This guy in here somewhere. Around there. Oh, I'm sure that might be why this hand was looking kind of weird. I think this maybe would be back where you had it. Okay. So I think I think this is really close to what your pose was. This is where it is. I think we could go up and forward, which means I think that ball still needs to be a little bigger, but I think this is close. Oh, maybe we could like lower the hips and angle it up. I'm just looking at the reference and going, okay, what can we do? So everything builds off of this pose. So you got to really work it. Get it like feeling really close to what you want. Yeah, I don't like the deformation on this rig around the front limbs. I feel like it's not as strong as some other rigs I've seen, but it's okay. I think it's not like it's necessarily incorrect. I bet you there's going to be some bend in the back. I feel like you can't spend too much. Say that differently. There's no way to. You can spend a lot of time on the first pose, and you'll never be wasting your time. You're sort of exploring and you're setting up the expectation for the rest of your scene. So the more appeal, the solider, the more balance, the more cool stuff that's going on. The better the rest of your scene will end up being. I'm trying to find the eyes. I don't know if there are eyes. Nose. Lower lid. I guess those are the eyes. I feel like the upper lid just moves. That's it like moves too much. Getting him to look at the ball. Okay. Cool. So now we're feeling like this stretch. I think this rig is a little longer than that Tiger thing, and there's some anatomy differences. But you can see that, like, I think you can see what I'm going for. And then you can kind of work it from there and then figure out how to do the rest of your scene. Because now that those first poses are back, now you're going to want to figure out, like, there's a jump missing right there, I think. Let's see. There's like a cool bouncy hop, and then a push, and then a bouncy hop. So you're missing that. You're missing the second bouncy hop. It's not there at all. And then I would probably jump ahead. So you got 70. That's working pretty well. I would jump ahead until the feet land again if I was going to keep going, because it's kind of intimidating to like make so many changes on that first frame and then everything else doesn't quite work right. So I would go and try and sync everything back up with 77 and then look at like what's happening between 70 and 77, which is, you got that pose right there. So let's see. So I would say the ball for sure should move further forward. I think that's probably where a lot of your hip issues are coming from, and your speed and your momentum. Let's see, is that ball pretty much moving the same speed the whole time? Yeah, it's pretty much, it's not really speeding up or slowing down. Is this the ball? One of these is the ball's forward movement. So you probably, I think in this area here, it's not moving at all. So you probably kind of want to go and make it linear. And it should move more than that. But let's just see distance-wise if we can judge. It's hard because the camera's moving, but I think we can figure this out. Okay. Trying to track the grass. Like a tuft of grass right there that moves backwards. So it's maybe, it goes from middle of the ball, goes to wherever the chest is in the video. So the chest is like right here. Also, your ball's not on the ground. Oh, hey, that might be why the ball feels like it's not big enough. Check this out. So your ball's under the ground. So let's go and just lift it up a little bit. That's probably part of it. I mean, it can be in the ground a little bit, but that'll buy us a slightly larger ball, which is cool. Anyway, now we want to get the movement. So between 70 and 77, you're going to want to be a lot farther forward. So you want to be whatever this distance and then go right view. We measured from the center of the ball to like the rib cage. So that's 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, it's like 3 straight up squares going from this line here, which whatever that is. I'm just putting my finger on it. You can't see me doing it, but 1. So this goes 2. So we're going to go a whole extra square there. And then now that's going to be our forward speed for your animation, probably. That's going to make it move way faster. I don't know if that's going to be right. It seems wrong. All right, let's do. Originally it was 2 squares from 70 to 77. 2 squares is still farther, but it's not like as extreme. Yeah, it's going to be tricky to make sure everything keeps lining up and your momentum and everything stays clean all the way through, but we can do it. Okay, so cool. So that is much farther, but I think that's probably pretty close to where it should be on 77. Nope, wrong thing. There's no hard and fast rule with animation, like what's gonna make a scene work and what's not. These are just if I was like at work and handed your scene, these are sort of the steps I would go through to start cleaning it up. You know, we would look at your scene not as like a waste of time, but as like of initial exploration of how this scene's gonna work and come together. And I would do the same thing. Like I would probably knock it out and as quick as possible with as few frames as possible to get a sense of where it is, and then go back and go, okay, what did I miss? What did I forget? What can I do to make it better? And and I would end up doing the same process. So yeah, it looks like this hand goes and falls low, and then between 70 and 77, he's lower and his feet are more forward. They're still far out like this. See that you're bending this backwards. I wonder if there's a way to fix this pose. I bet, because it looks, this feels strange, this curve here. And again, that might be like an issue with the rig itself. So I might go like this. I want to try and like split the difference and then grab the fingers. I would either go and, yeah, these circle things. Talk to a rigger if I was at work, you know, and go, hey, how do we have this problem? How do we fix this? Or I would just kind of do that. So I'm trying to get this like weird bulge out of there because he's not doing that. It has this nice like swooping back feeling to it. And then there's like this cool like curve up and then down. There's like this really strong S curve now in this tiger. Look at this thing. Because before it was like really like stretched and straight, and now it's much more. If the hips are here, it's much more like up and back. It's more snaky. He's like really desperately trying to like. He's so focused. I love how laser focused the tiger is. Lower. The hips lower. 77, they're up. A little bit, not too much. I'll stop after this pose, and then you can kind of decide what to do from there. This pose is going to get interesting. Oh, you can feel like the chest collapses as it. And then there's something going on in here. That's strange. Oh. This is a challenging pose to figure out. A lot of times, if you're at work or next time you run into this, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to get this pose to work, can I get your help trying to figure this out? And then we sometimes we'll give the same problem to multiple animators and be like, hey, can you guys get a better pose here? I think he's too far forward. I think when you're working on this, the balls, because it's such a heavy object and it doesn't move or anything, the ball's going to be your main driver for the speed of the tiger. Because I would say with your camera's relationship, at the beginning I was looking at the relationship between the tiger and the camera, and it was feeling like it was snapping around and jittery. But what I would do is make sure that the ball has a nice relationship with the camera, because we know the ball's not moving that much. That way, when the tiger is snapping and moving around, we have the ball as reference to know, okay, if the ball's moving smooth, then we know the tiger's movement is the issue and not the ball itself. Yeah, there's like way more like forward move on this. Oh, you know what we can do sometimes, an animator did this, is when it's compressed, just translate it back just a little bit. This is pretty straight, actually. It's almost like, I wonder if it's more like this. I think that's probably more like what the tiger's doing. Why don't you go back to your other? Yeah, I think that's more like what it's doing. I'm gonna fix the tail because it's really pretty far off at this point. Probably save the tails selection set, but whatever. I think it's more. That looks more like it. Yeah, so now I know I can get a jump in between there. And then I might, because we already have all this blocked out. So I think if I was working on this, I would do just this jump because it's all messy probably right now. Yeah, I would just get just this one jump to look right. And it would help me confirm if this pose is correct and not worry about like the rest of the animation. Like, let's just worry about this one move and make it perfect. Okay, so I think I'll stop there. So if you want to keep going with this animation, I think you'll have a pretty okay grade for the class. If you want to keep going on it, this won't be, you won't get like a perfect score, but you'll get pretty passable. So if you want to take this to the next level, if you want it for your portfolio, what I would do is fix up these first two frames right in here, and then get the jump working, and then take a stab at like the next jump. So maybe, because there's this like, oh shoot, whatever. 77, there's this like pull and stretch. So I'd probably do 83 and 90. So I would say if you wanted to take this to the next level, just work on 70 to 90 and try and get the poses to match in a way that I was doing it here. And then I'll give you more notes. And I'd probably just give you a round of notes on just 70 to 90. And we can work on that until it's like feeling really good. But yeah, man, I think this is pretty good, pretty good animation for your first animation class. So I think you should be proud of this. These are all just pointers on like what do you want to what do you need to do to like take this to the next level and get it more feeling more animated and cleaned up. All right, Ryan, I'll see you later.